Lance by Chance. The untold story of him wrestling as of on Earth. LanceByChance.com.
Fans, welcome back for another week of the 531, where we take your top 5 list on a particular subject, vote it down to a top 3, debate that top 3 down to a top 1. This week, we got top 5 Dean Ambrose / Jon Moxley matches, because some people gave us all Moxley, some people all Ambrose, or all Shield, mostly Shield, and some was a mix.
I got a nice.
Now, who do you have first for a list?
Well, I got from Voluntown. He's got John. Well, actually, let me read what he wrote here. I have to rule out pretty much any WWE match just because I fucking hated the lunatic lariat and almost everything else that came out of Dean Ambrose school of overselling. So there you go. Scott was not a fan of Ambrose, but was a fan of Jon Moxley, and he picked Bryan Danielson, Dragon Gate USA 2010. I think I should see that. He's got Moxley versus Ishii, G1 Climax 2019. Mox versus Barnett from this year's Bloodsport. Moxley versus Omega, Lights Out match, Full Gear 2019. And Moxie versus Minoru Suzuki from New Beginning in Osaka 2020.
Yeah, that Moxley versus Suzuki fight that was anticipated with him. You know, I think at that time he had been in a blood sport. They were hoping to get him versus Barnett, and it was almost like knocking out all his dream matches.
Right.
And I mean, Moxley versus Barnett on there, we watched that.
Yes, we did.
Moxley, Omega, you really can't fault any of these. I haven't seen Moxley versus Danielson, but like you said, that'll be one that I got to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. Good
First
stuff.
list I got the real ZSJ, Zach St. John. He's got Moxley versus Rollins, Money in the Bank 2015. Moxley versus Omega, Full Gear 2019. Moxley versus Juice Robinson, King of the Super Juniors. Moxley versus Ishii, G1 2019. And Moxley versus Takagi, G1 2019 as well.
It's a hell of a list. I think you might have an extra list than I do because apparently I had sent you Zach at some point. So
you had sent me Scott, but I didn't say anything about it. I just X'd him out off of my list.
Okay. I don't remember. So but peek behind the curtain here because we want, after all, most importantly, we want to know whose fault this is. I remember sending multiple lists about different things, and I think some of these lists intertwined with each other. So like if I send you a list, say Jake did on a future one we're doing like SNL or something else, this one might have been attached to it. So
yeah, there was a bunch that came through. So I had just set up at work one night, just went through the text messages, looked at all the ones that I had, and was like, all right, let's knock this out.
Which is very admirable of you. So continuing on, I got Jake. I don't know if he's on your list too.
He is not.
All right. So we got he's got versus Minoru Suzuki in a no DQ match for the U.S. title, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Kenny Omega, barbed wire, Sparkles death match. I'm glad he put that in there because that was a great match until the ending. It got fucked.
Yeah, that ending was rough.
This is the one. Bryan Danielson, HWA. Danielson wins via stoppage, elbows to the head. All right. You got my interest there. HWA. That sounds like
Heartland Wrestling. Yep.
Yeah. And then he's also got Juice Robinson, match number 1. And then versus Ishii and Jake Rule on Effect versus Shingo Takagi, G1.
Nice. All solid. We always expect Jake to bring an extra one, as well as a bunch of New Japan matches. And
Yes,
you
yes.
guys should all go get Night Full of Diamonds available on Amazon.com. Jake's
Yes,
newest
yes.
book out there. Now I got a list from Albert Bettis. This is short. It's just Shield versus Wyatt family, CM Punk versus the Shield, and Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose.
Okay. Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. Man, that was a match nobody really cared for, but you know what? I'm glad he liked it. You know?
Yeah, now who do you have for a list next?
Let's go to my man Mike Cadwell, formerly Mike with Fred Facebook page. Now it's just gonna go Mike Cadwell. And just he tells me not to. We got versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, Battleground 2016. Versus Triple H, Roadblock 2016. And then we have as Moxley versus Shingo Takagi, New Japan G1 Climax, Day 8, July 24th, 2019. Jon Moxley versus Omega, AEW Full Gear, September 11th, 2019. And also versus Bryan Danielson from that Dragon's Gate USA match. God, I don't remember him and Danielson ever wrestling each other really. Maybe when he was in the Shield. So it's fun to hear about these matches that took place with Danielson like out of WWE.
Yeah, especially Dragon Gate. HWA sounds interesting since it was a stoppage with elbows.
Right. Yeah.
God, there's really a lot to Moxley that we got to dig deep on because we've been seeing this new run, and I was familiar with him in WWE, but I wasn't familiar with him before that.
I like our fans today. They're bringing us some shit. All right. Shout out to the fans.
Now, next up, I got Mike Flynn. He's got Ambrose versus AJ Styles, TLC. Ambrose versus AJ Styles, Backlash. Moxley versus Brody Lee, Double or Nothing. Moxley versus Ishii, G1. And Moxley versus Suzuki, New Beginning. A lot of that New Japan run on there. That Suzuki match made an impression with a lot of people. Ishii as well. Couple hard-hitting matches.
Yeah, short. He hasn't had a long New Japan run, but what he's done so far has definitely made an impact on our audience. And I'm going to go to Randy. Speaking of impact, I got Randy Osgood here, all right? And he's got Dean Ambrose versus Triple H, Roadblock 2016. Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens, Last Man Standing IC title match, Royal Rumble 2016. Jon Moxley versus Brody Lee, World Championship match, Double or Nothing 2020. Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston, AEW Full Gear, I Quit match. And Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson, Dragon Gate, USA, I don't even know how you pronounce this, Way of the Running, September 2016, 2010, RONIN. But that is the match. Apparently, it was the event at Dragon's Gate. And yeah, so man, more people suggesting this Dragon Gate match.
Wow, I just downloaded a bunch of Dragon Gate, so I'll have to get to that. Next up, we got Jesse from New Hampshire. He's got Shield versus Evolution, Payback 2014. Shield versus Rhodes, Battleground 13.
Oh, yeah.
Ambrose versus Wyatt, Ambulance match, January 5th, 2015, Raw. Ambrose versus Lesnar, WrestleMania 32. And Moxley versus Archer, Wrestle Kingdom 14.
What was that one with the Rhodes?
That was Battleground 13.
I like it. It's going on my list. I meant to put that down there. That was an awesome match. That was one of the best build-ups. So I'm going to actually take something off my list here. You know what? Whatever. It'll just go as a bonus. Jake rule. All right. So I went with some of his more important matches, I thought. Seth Rollins, Money in the Bank 2015. He cashed in to win the world title for the first time. Jericho, AEW Revolution. He won the AEW World Championship. Personal favorite, just because we saw it. I'm with Scott. Josh Barnett, Bloodsport. Thought it was pretty badass. Lance Archer from New Japan. I want to say this was the Texas Death Match where he won the U.S. title back after being stripped of it. And the first match with Omega, Full Gear 2019, where they also had that spot where I want to say he was sweeping, like he had like a barbed wire broom up and down his back. So yeah. A lot of wild shit. I remember we really got what's his name in an uproar there. Chris Cruz had his panties in a bunch and he wanted to shut it down. Snitching off to the Maryland State Athletic Commission. Well, Anyway, I thought it was good times. I enjoyed the match, so made my
Yeah,
list.
a lot of Jon Moxley's matches coming off of WWE seem to want to reaffirm his style, and especially early on in his run, we got a lot of wild matches like that. And I mean, he really hasn't slowed down.
No.
I got my list next. Moxley versus Rollins, Money in the Bank 2015. Not just because I was there, but
you were there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he cast in and won the title. That's a big deal. So
yep. Moxley versus Omega, Full Gear 2019.
Look at you. Me and you having similar lists here.
Moxley versus Barnett, Bloodsport 6.
We got 3 out of 5, baby.
I got Moxley versus Suzuki, New Beginning 2019, because that was huge. And I had to include Ambrose versus Lesnar, WrestleMania 32.
Okay, we had 3 out of 5. I was actually going back and forth on the Minoru Suzuki one. I really like the Lance Archer one with the Texas Death Rules, so that's why I ended up going with that one.
Yeah,
I was the only one, it looks like, so whatever.
Now, looking at these lists, Moxley versus Danielson has to go on there. That popped up more than I expected it to.
Sure.
Oh, what else?
There's a lot of different matches. I was hoping you'd keep it count, baby.
I was not. This one.
There's so many different ones that got listed here. I feel like that Moxley Minoru Suzuki match made it here a few times.
Yep, Moxley versus Suzuki was definitely on a few.
Yep.
So we'll put that up there. Moxley Danielson, Moxley versus Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
And then that third spot there. Ishii made a couple lists.
I'm looking now, yeah. I mean, Barnett made 3 of our list. 3 people who watched it. You know what? Moxley Omega is on a few lists here, I see.
Yeah, that 2019 match.
Yeah, I think that should be in there. That's fine. Let's do that. Yeah, let's throw it in.
All right, so our top 3, Moxley versus Omega, Moxley versus Danielson, Moxley versus Suzuki.
Okay, so we're going to have to boot out the Danielson match because we have to include it as a thank you for all the fans. But since we haven't watched it, I can't put it over. You haven't watched it either.
I know. It's definitely something we want to check out. Fans,
Yeah.
check out in the comments. Send us Facebook messages.
Yeah, send us a list. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that too. But let us know. Let us know what about this match pushed it onto this list for you, because it was on a few people's.
Yeah. Okay, so now we got Moxley versus Omega Full Gear and Moxley versus Suzuki. Yeah.
See, to me, just the importance of how this is laid out, AEW's run up until this current title run, I almost feel like it's got to be that Moxley Omega match. The Moxley Suzuki one, it's one of my favorites. It's on there because of how important it was. But I mean, I think when you look at it, Moxley Omega just started out this run for AEW that, I mean, Omega became the champ off of Moxley.
Or we could just give it to Moxley and Minoru Suzuki because our favorite author and best friend is a Minoru Suzuki fan, and I don't have a real strong opinion either way. So let's do it for the fans.
Wow, so you're not even swayed by the AEW?
No.
Like, is it because you just don't have an attachment to the Moxley Suzuki match?
I liked it. I remember it. And I liked Omega Moxley. I don't feel... See, I'm different with you on your opinion on it a little bit. I think, okay, when I think of what kicked off like AEW and what's really got it going, one, it was Jericho being at the press conference, showing everything up. 2, it was Moxley first showing up at Double or Nothing, and then attacking him. The lights out, the barbed wire match, and all that stuff was really good. You know what kind of takes me out of it just a little bit, because I still enjoyed it. I put it on my list, obviously, but was the whole unsanctioned idea if it doesn't go towards your record. Like, it's something that conflicts me about this, because like I love that AEW like keeps records, and I love that we do this, and I get you trying to make it special and different, but to me it's like, No, motherfucker, you lost. We watched it.
Yeah.
But you made a compelling argument, much stronger than mine of just doing it for friends. So,
I mean, I just thought that it started off this newest run that kind of capped off with Kenny winning the title. But
you know what? It is interesting. You say that. There was a hell of an interview with before that, where Mox got injured and they couldn't do this. And Kenny just cut a scathing promo on him where, this is what I'm supposed to say. I hope you get better. But I don't. You're a piece of shit, and I hope I never see you again. It was like
this right around the same time that first Barnett match kind of fell through.
Yeah. So, yeah, all right. I'm convinced. Moxley Omega, Joey wins.
Fans, you know what the music
Jake.
Means. Jake, sorry, we are big Suzuki fans, but up against Moxley Omega, that's a tall order.
It's in the final two.
Yeah, I mean, Moxley Suzuki was a wild match, but Moxley
actually
is a feud that's still going now.
Jake was the only one who had the Bryan Danielson match from HWA and had elbow stoppages. That sounds pretty cool. So,
we will definitely have to check that out. Moxley, through the blood sport, through his New Japan, he's definitely showed off some of those MMA leanings.
Damn right. Glad we made a special list just for him. So we'll see what it's going to be in the next couple of years. We'll be doing this again.
Yeah, definitely. Now, fans, thank you for joining us again this week, and we will talk to you later.